With me now, retired Brigadier General John Teichert, command pilot with more than 2,000 flight hours in nearly 40 different aircraft. General, I told you we'd be talking a lot. Here we are. Nice to see you. This is the Ford, okay? Biggest aircraft carrier strike group in the world, right?
Yes.
Biggest, baddest thing that we have.
Absolutely. Okay. Poised now in the Eastern Mediterranean, ready to go.
Okay, so the Ford was on the move from Greece. It's now in Israel. When he talks about the location here, let's go to the map here for a second, because this is what I want to get into, General. Where are troops? Where are asset? Where the military is stationed tonight? So if this is the Ford, and it's just off the west coast of Israel in Haifa. This is Iran, and then the Abraham Lincoln is right here off the coast of Iran. So you've got a carrier group here, a carrier group there. It seems to me that that's to defend Israel and our troops in the region if there's a strike, and that's attack purposes as well. Is that sort of the setup here?
Blake, I think you're generally right. For sure, the Lincoln is there to support strikes into Iran. I think there's three things that the Ford can be doing. Number one, it can defend assets in and around Israel. Number two, it can strike. It's about 1,000 miles from the Eastern Mediterranean to Tehran. That's 2.5 hours each way, supported by air refueling aircraft. It can do that. And then number three, it doesn't have the limitations of being based out of countries that might limit what our aircraft could do. It's sovereign U.S. territory, and so it doesn't have some of those limitations that other aircraft poised in the region otherwise have.
You heard Robert Sherman talk about the steps that were made today in Israel for U.S. Embassy staff and sort of how, I don't want to use the word unprecedented, but how extremely unusual it is. You see that, that's kind of what we woke up to this morning on the news front. And then I heard this from President Trump earlier today. Roll it.
Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. But every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long.
Add all this up for me, General.
Yeah, I think the president was waiting for two things to make the decision to strike. Number one,
which, by the way, he hasn't.
He hasn't. Right, we don't know that he has.
We don't know. Right. But you believe it could be these two.
It could be. Number one, he believes that there's no fruit to be had in subsequent negotiations. And number two, he's convinced that U.S. forces in the region, both offensively and defensively, are postured in order to achieve his objectives at a sufficient level of risk. Both of those are unknown, but I think those are the factors that he is considering about when and where to strike.
When you talk about unknowns and factors and risks, what are the elevated risks as this is all sort of being weighed right now?
Blake, the largest risk, the way that Iran can project power is via its ballistic missiles. It has about 1,000 of them. That means that the first targets that our forces need to go after are warehouses that hold those missiles, or production facilities, or the launchers that launch those ballistic missiles, because they are the way that Iran could do harm to the U.S. and our interests, and we need to neutralize them immediately.
There's an interesting battle that's taking place nowhere near any of this, and that's with AI, between the Secretary of War and the head of Anthropic, which runs Claude. We saw the post from the commander-in-chief today, basically saying, get it out of the United States government. Explain to me and to our audience here how intertwined this is right now, and what a big deal in sort of this new age of sort of warfare that we're on, that now there's a battle over what you can and cannot use with AI and our military. That's the post from the president.
Absolutely, Blake. Just to give an example, likely Anthropic, that AI system, is being used to war plan against Iran. That means that you give it our objectives, our resources, and the threats, and then you let it iterate again and again and again to come up with the best possible war plan. It's the only AI system right now approved for use on classified DoD systems. That means that once we phase it out, that we either need to replace it immediately, or we don't have that type of capability. It was likely used in Venezuela.
Yeah, so it was potentially used in Venezuela as well. Weren't OpenAI and Grok like involved with the military as well? Like I guess there's a lot of this now, right?
There is. They can be used for resourcing decisions or acquisition decisions, but right now Anthropic is the only one that can be used on classified systems.
All right, we've been talking a lot about Iran and this. The president said something today, General, about Cuba, given the news there earlier this week. Here it was.
The Cuban government is talking with us. They're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now. But they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What's a friendly takeover?
My guess is that he's thinking about either diplomacy or working covertly with opposition groups within Cuba to try to find a way to turn the government to something that is friendly to the United States. But as you know, we are very stretched thin in a variety of ways right now, focused on Iran. This would be an addition that would be tough to simultaneously tackle.
Well, we're very stretched thin, but by the way, that from there is just 90 miles as we zoom in, just to show you sort of how close all of this is in our backyard. The Commander-in-Chief with a lot on his mind tonight. John Teichert, General, with us here tonight to break it all down. I'll see you next week.